Hey guys, welcome back to the SBL. We are here for Season 13. This season, we've gone in a different direction, back to our roots of a tier and points draft. The power level has been increased for this season, as we have put this season into a version of National Dex Ubers, as we have included a restricted tier alongside mega tiers. This is the largest season we've ever had, with 20 total players across the two conferences, leaving us with 10 players per conference. This means that we'll be having 9 weeks plus 2 weeks of interconference rounds for a total of 11 weeks in the main season. Once we hit finals, we will be taking our top 5 players from each conference and reseeding them for the finals, with the first week of finals being for the bottom 4 teams of the 10 playing to head into the next week of finals. With the draft, each player drafted a single restricted, a mega, and one from each of tiers 1 through 4. With 340 points to pick 4 free slots within the tiers. Each mega tier had a point value attached to it, as tier 1 megas would cause you to lose 80 points from your total, a tier 2 mega caused no point changes, and a tier 3 mega gave 60 points back. Each mega that was drafted allows the coach to use the base form plus the mega form. The mega you drafted also restricted you to which tiers could be used as Terra Captains, of which either 2 or 3 could be chosen. A tier 1 mega allows the player to only use 2 tier 4s as captains. A tier 2 mega allows for a tier 3 and tier 4 captain, and a tier 3 mega allows for a tier 2, 3, and 4 captain. All Terra captains have chosen 3 Terra types that the coaches picked for them, one of which is stab, and the others are not. Players were unable to draft a second restrictor for their teams, and the point values for each of the tiers were as follows. A tier 1 Pokemon cost 180 points, a tier 2 cost 120, tier 3 cost 60, and tier 4 cost 40. At the start of the draft, we had last season's winner Marvin, who had the chance to franchise one of the Pokemon he brought in the finals of last season, franchise Cincino, and that guy 313, who won the preseason, decided to ban Ogerpon Wellspring. Moving on to the teams, we'll go in alphabetical order through each conference, starting with the Survivor Conference. First up is Comfey spelled backwards, coached by Ish. Their team consists of the restricted Marshadow, the Tier 1 Megalatias, the Tier 1 Kingambit, the Tier 2's Clodsire and Hisuian Zoroark, the Tier 3's Comfey and Renrigus, and the Tier 4's Minior, Meowstic Male, and Paldean Cortoros Combat, with Minior having the Terra types of Flying, Ground, and Steel, and Tauros having Fighting, Dark, and Stellar. Next is the Fish and Crips, coached by Tarkos. Their team consists of the restricted Fluttermane, the Tier 3 Mega Sceptile, Tier 1 Celesteela, the Tier 2's Blissey, Hooper Unbound, Volcanion, and Raikou, the Tier 3 Shuckle, and the Tier 4's Obstagoon and Venomoth, with Hooper having the Terra types of Dark, Fairy, and Ground, Shuckle having Bug, Steel, and Poison, and Obstagoon with Normal, Ghost, and Ground. Next up is the Fishes Fiends, coached by Nick Negg. Their team consists of the restricted Arceus Normal. This can only be Normal type, so no Plate or Z-Crystal can be held to change its type. The Tier 3 Mega Abomasnow, the Tier 1's Aegislash and Baxcalibur, the Tier 2's Moltres Galar and Keldeo, the Tier 3's Donphan and Vikavolt, and the Tier 4's Druddigon and Crustle, with Moltres having the Terra types of Dark, Ground, and Electric, Vikavolt having Electric, Steel, and Fire, and Crustle having Rock, Ground, and Steel. Next, we have the Healesville Sanctuary, coached by Trenium. Their team consists of the restricted Dialga, the Tier 2 Mega Sableye, the Tier 1's Rillaboom and Iron Bundle, the Tier 2 Klefki, the Tier 3's Hitmonlee, Magmortar, and Slacking, and the Tier 4's Masquerain and Electrode, with Slacking having the Terra types of Normal, Fairy, and Dark, and Masquerain with Flying, Water, and Ground. Next up, we have the newly renamed Nari Warren Rappers, coached by That Guy 313. Their team consists of the restricted Kyogre, the Tier 3 Mega Pidgeot, the Tier 1's Iron Valiant and Melmetal, the Tier 2's Regieleki and Mamoswine, Tier 3's Sinistcha and Floatzel, and the Tier 4s of Hisuian Quillfish and Slurpuff, with Regieleki having the Terra types of Electric, Ice, and Normal, Sinistcha with Ghost, Poison, and Fairy, and Slurpuff with Fairy, Ghost, and Steel. Next is the Primeapes, coached by Dossa37. Their team consists of the restricted Kyurem White, the Tier 2 Mega Aerodactyl, the Tier 1's Urshifu Rapid Strike and Cinderace, the Tier 2 Goodra, the Tier 3's Bronzong, Jolteon, and Sarina, and the Tier 4's Komala and Muck, with Sarina having the Terra types of Grass, Water, and Stellar, and Muck with Poison, Flying, and Dark. Next up is one of our new teams, the Clodsires, coached by Lynx. Their team consists of the restricted Naganadel, the Tier 2 Mega Aggron, Tier 1's Iron Hands and Ting Lu, Tier 2 Pecharunt, the Tier 3's Hisuian Decidueye, Kingdra, and Salazzle, and the Tier 4's Riolu and Raichu, with Kingdra having the Terra types of Water, Stellar, and Fairy, and Raichu with Electric, Fairy, and Ground. Next up is the Vibe Vulpix, coached by Tim Tyler. Their team consists of the restricted Palkia, the Tier 2 Mega Gallade, the Tier 1 Shaman Sky, the Tier 2's Alolan Ninetales, Mimikyu, and Cantonian Ninetales, the Tier 3's Toxtricity and Copperaja, and the Tier 4's Duosion and Morpeko, with Toxtricity having the Terra types of Electric, Normal, and Ground, and Duosion with Psychic, Fairy, and Water. Next up is Victoria's Dark Secrets, coached by Huge Pyre. Their team consists of the restricted Zacian. We have made it so that Zacian cannot be in its crowned form, only its base form. The Tier 1 Mega Salamence, the Tier 1 Great Tusk, the Tier 2s of Milotic and Glamora, the Tier 3s of Delphox and Cloyster, and the Tier 4s Kricketune, Mismagius, and Swellow, with Mismagius having the Terra types of Ghost, Electric, and Fairy, and Swellow with Normal, Ground, and Stellar. The final team in the Survivor Conference is another of our new players, with the White Monsters coached by Rico Stick. Their team consists of the restricted Urshifu Single Strike, the Tier 2 Mega Medicham, the Tier 1 Spectrier, Tier 2's Cetitan, Crawdaunt, and Reuniclus, Tier 3's Mudsdale and Oricorio Psychic, and Tier 4's Maractus and Berserker, with Oricorio having the Terra types of Psychic, Ground, and Water, and Maractus with Grass, Fire, and Steel. Moving into the Zangoose Conference, we have the Cracked Samsungs, coached by Samsung S5. Their team consists of the restricted Magearna, the Tier 2 Mega Altaria, the Tier 1's Dragapult and Ogerpon Hearthflame, the Tier 2 Araquanid, the Tier 3's Duraludon, Silvally, and Galarian Articuno, and the Tier 4s of Knacklestack and Arboliva, with Articuno having the Terra types of Flying, Ground, and Fighting, and Knacklestack with Rock, Ghost, and Flying. Next is the Cranny Maggies, coached by Beyond Soulfang. Their team consists of the restricted Groudon, the Tier 2 Mega Pinsir, the Tier 1's Darkrai and Gouging Fire, the Tier 2 Hisuian Lilligant, Tier 3 Screamtail, Whimsicott, and Grafaiai, and Tier 4 Frostlass and Gloom, with Screamtail having the Terra types of Fairy, Steel, and Water, and Gloom with Grass, Water, and Rock. We have banned the use of the Red and Blue Orb, so we will not be seeing Primal Kyogre or Primal Groudon in this league. Next up is the Druin Dittos, coached by Pickles EXE. Their team consists of the restricted Reshiram, the Tier 2 Mega Heracross, the Tier 1's Victini and Meowscarada, the Tier 2 of Excadrill, Tier 3's Vanillux, Regigigas, and Electivire, and Tier 4's Wigglytuff and Mantine, with Electivire having the Terra types of Electric, Normal, and Fighting, and Mantine with Flying, Ground, and Poison. Next is the last of our new coaches, the Mellifluous Meloetters, coached by Podra. Their team consists of the restricted Kyurem Black, the Tier 1 Mega Charizard Y, We did restrict it to either Charizard X or Y. It had to be picked as one of them. The Tier 1 Kartana, Tier 2s of Grimmsnarl and Armarouge, Tier 3s of Indeedee Female at Espeon, and the Tier 4s of Skuntank, Scovillain, and Murkrow, with Skuntank having Terra types of Dark, Ground, and Water, and Scovillain with Fire, Ghost, and Rock. Next up is the returning Metagross, coached by Amdomo. Their team consists of the restricted Yveltal, the Tier 2 Mega Tyranitar, Tier 1 Archaludon, Tier 2's Clefable, Sandy Shocks, and Skeledirge, Tier 3's Golisopod and Hitmontop, and Tier 4's Togedemaru and Galarian Corsola, with Golisopod having Terra types of Water, Normal, and Stellar, and Togedemaru with Steel, Water, and Dragon. Next is my own team, the Nari Ninetales, coached by Draco Igneous 97. The team consists of the restricted Giratina, the Tier 1 Mega Scizor, the Tier 1 Tapu Koko, Tier 2s of Pelipper and Barraskewda, Tier 3s Alolan Muck and Paldean Tauros Blaze, and Tier 4s of Lurantis, Krokorok, and Glaceon, with Lurantis having the Terra types of Grass, Stellar, and Fire, and Glaceon with Ice, Electric, and Ground. When it comes to Palkia, Dialga, and Giratina, both forms are legal, but if the players wish to use the origin forms, they must be holding their items. Next is the Slowqueens, coached by Buizel Percent 100. Their team consists of the restricted Palafin, the Tier 1 Mega Lucario, Tier 1 Garganacl, Tier 2's Mew and Rotom Wash, Tier 3's Alola Marowak and Forretress, and the Tier 4s of Malamar, Alolan Sandslash, and Granbull, with Malamar having the Terra types of Dark, Fighting, and Stellar, and Alolan Sandslash with Ice, Ghost, and Fairy. Next up is the runner-up of the last season, the Stealth Squadron, coached by Stealth R2. Their team consists of the restricted Duskmane Necrozma. We have banned Ultra Necrozmium Z, so Ultra Necrozma will not be making an appearance. The Tier 2 Mega Lopunny, the Tier 1s of Zapdos and Tapu Fini, the Tier 2 Azelf, Tier 3's Drifblim, Tangrowth, and Nidoking, and the Tier 4's Sneasel and Colossal, with Drifblim having the Terra types of Flying, Fairy, and Ground, and Colossal with Fire, Grass, and Fairy. Next up, the Swanky Sweepers, coached by Battlebane 1100. Their team consists of the restricted Eternatus, the Tier 1 Mega Blastoise, Tier 1 Annihilape, the Tier 2s of Ogerpon, Cornerstone, and Cresselia, the Tier 3s of Incineroar and Tinkaton, and the Tier 4s Piloswine, Palisand, and Rotom Fan, with Palisand having the Terra types of Ghost, Grass, and Steel, and Rotom with the Electric, Steel, and Fairy. And finally, it brings us to the winner of last season, Team Awesome, coached by Marvin1. Their team consists of the restricted Ho-Oh, the Tier 2 Mega Gardevoir, the Tier 1s of Goldengo and Landorus Therian, Tier 2 Hydreigon, the Tier 3s of Cincino, Overquill, and Galvantula, and the Tier 4s Quagsire and Gurdurr, with Cincino having the Terra types of Normal, Ghost, and Ground, and Quagsire with Water, Grass, and Poison. And that's all the teams for this season. I'll post the link to the teams and the tier slides all in the description if people are interested in checking them out. In the coming weeks, we are going to be putting out some of the team breakdowns for those of us who are interested in making them. We don't know how many we're going to have, but we're definitely going to have a few of them coming out. So I hope you're all excited for this coming season, and keep an eye out for Week 1 coming soon. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.